Welcome back to the podcast.
We are so glad you could join us today.
Honestly, Ryan, I'm still shaking a little bit from yesterday. I don't know why. I woke up this morning and my stomach was in knots. It's like my body remembers the stress even if the interview is over.
Take a breath, Emma. Seriously, you're safe here. The only boss in this room is that broken coffee maker, and it's not firing anyone today. Let me pour you some more of this terrible roast.
Thank you. And sorry, I know I'm probably complaining too much. It's just, when you're talking and you can literally see the other person looking at your mouth, not listening to your ideas, but analyzing how you say them, like they are waiting for a mistake.
People do that? That's so invasive. I've never noticed it, but I guess I've never had to.
They do. At least I feel like they do. This guy yesterday, Mr. Henderson, I think his name was, he was nice. He wore this very expensive-looking tie, but every time I had a stumble with a word, he'd tilt his head just a little bit, like he was trying to solve a puzzle, or like he was thinking, oh, there it is, there's the foreign girl.
Henderson. Sounds like a guy who spends too much time looking at spreadsheets and not enough time talking to real human beings. I hate guys like that. They think a slight accent means a lower IQ, which is just the dumbest logic on the planet.
Exactly, but it makes me feel like I am just a box they have to check, a diversity hire or something. Like I'm there to fill a quota, but as soon as I speak, they're checking if I'm too much work. It's this constant imposter syndrome, right? But with an accent. I walked out of that building and I just felt so small. My jaw actually ached from trying to enunciate everything so perfectly for an hour.
An accented imposter syndrome. That's a heavy layer to add on top of everything else. I mean, just the interview is bad enough, but having to perform your language? That sounds exhausting, Emma. Truly. I just walk in and mumble my way through life. I never realized how much extra processing power you're using just to stand in the same room as those guys.
It's constant. It's like, okay, I know the answer to the technical question, right? But then I have to translate the thought, check the grammar in my head, and then, this is the worst part, I have to decide if I'm going to use a big word or if that will make me sound like I'm trying too hard.
Wait, really? You worry about sounding like you're trying too hard?
All the time. If I use a very formal word, I feel like they're thinking, oh, she studied that in a book. But if I use slang, I'm afraid I'll use it wrong and look, I don't know, uneducated. There's no winning. I just sit there calculating everything.
God, Miller and his corporate speak didn't help back at the old office, did he? That guy used words like synergy and leverage every 5 seconds, and half the time he used them wrong. And he's a native speaker. He was just making noise to sound important.
I know, he was terrible, but he had the audacity. He could be wrong and still feel like he owned the room. I make one tiny mistake with a preposition and I want to disappear under the desk. I start sweating.
I remember this one meeting. You were explaining the budget. Wait, was it the logistics project? You paused for a second and your face went totally blank. I thought you were just building suspense for the big reveal. You looked so intense.
No, Ryan, I swear, my brain just deleted the word budget. Gone. I was standing there thinking, presupuesto, and I couldn't find the English version. It was like a blank wall. I felt like such an idiot. I was panicking inside.
See, I had no clue. I just thought, wow, Emma's really making us wait for these numbers. She's got them on the edge of their seats. But it's wild that you carry that anxiety. It's like a hidden tax you're paying just to exist in that space. You're doing the same job, but paying a 30% mental tax just to communicate.
A hidden tax. I like that. Yes. It's expensive, Ryan. It costs a lot of energy. And after they let me go, it felt like all that effort was for nothing. Like I worked twice as hard to be perfect, and they still threw me away like a broken printer. It broke my heart a little bit. I gave them so much of my time.
Which is exactly why they didn't deserve you. Seriously. Their losses, well, it's my gain because now I get to record this with you, but I hate that you feel like a fraud. You're the most real person I worked with in that entire soul-sucking building. You actually cared about the work, unlike Sarah, who just cared about copying the manager on every single email she ever sent.
Oh, Sarah, please don't remind me of her emails. As per my last email, she was so aggressive. But I watched you handle things. I watched you handle those angry clients from Chicago who couldn't understand their own bills. You were always so calm. You never looked like you were questioning yourself.
That's because I'm an excellent actor, Emma. I'm 34 and I've spent the last 10 years just pretending I know what's going on. It's pure theater, a mask. The difference is that my mask doesn't have to deal with the barrier of a second language. But the fear that someone is going to discover you, that's universal. I still feel it.
You really feel it? You don't just say that to make me feel better?
I promise you. I remember my first real corporate job. I was 24, I think. I was sitting in a room with all these guys in suits talking about Q3 projections. I literally didn't know what Q3 meant. I thought it was a highway. I just nodded and wrote down Q3 equals important in my notebook. I was terrified someone would ask me a direct question and I'd just start crying.
No, you didn't know what a quarter was? That is actually hilarious.
Not a clue, but nobody questioned my right to be in that room. That's the privilege part. I was a young white guy in a suit, so they just assumed I was a genius absorbing information. If you had been sitting there, they probably would have expected you to take the meeting notes. It's messed up.
It is, because I had to be perfect to even get the interview. If I get angry, I'm the angry Mexican woman. If I cry, I'm too emotional. If I'm quiet, I don't understand. There's no room to just be a normal person making normal mistakes.
I never really thought about it that way. I just get to be Ryan, the guy who's sometimes grumpy in the morning. Nobody makes it about my heritage or my brain capacity. You have to represent a whole demographic every time you open your mouth.
Yeah, and the thing is, I am only 20. I know I am young. Sometimes I feel like a little kid wearing my mom's clothes, trying to look like a professional adult. And then Henderson looks at me, and I just feel like that kid again. I just want to walk into a place and feel like my brain is enough, that my ideas are loud enough to drown out my accent.
They are loud enough. Trust me. To anyone worth working for, they are. Look at this podcast. We started this because you had the best stories and the best way of seeing things. Your perspective is what makes this interesting. If we did this in Spanish, I'd be the one stumbling every 2 seconds and feeling like a fraud. I'd probably sound like a toddler.
I would actually love to see that, you trying to explain corporate synergy in Spanish. It would be a disaster.
Total disaster. I'd probably end up ordering a taco by accident or insulting someone's grandmother. My Spanish is limited to asking where the bathroom is and ordering beer. And even then, people look at me like I'm crazy.
See? Now imagine doing that, but your salary depends on it. Your rent depends on it.
Point taken. It's high stakes. But you've been handling those stakes for years. You are fluent, Emma. You speak better English than half the guys I went to college with. You're articulate, you're sharp, and you actually care about what you're saying. That's rare. Most people just use words to fill the silence.
Thank you, Ryan. I really needed to hear that today. My head has been such a dark place since the interview. I just keep replaying the moments where I stuttered or used the wrong tense. It's like a movie I can't turn off.
Let's turn the movie off. Let's do something productive. Why don't we go over some of those technical terms for your next interview? Not as a lesson, but just so you can say them out loud here first. Get the jaw ache out of the way in a safe spot. No judgment.
Actually, that would be really helpful. But instead of the interview, would you mind looking at my resume? Specifically the skills section. I feel like I wrote it in a way that sounds too robotic, like I just copied and pasted from Google Translate.
Bring it up on the laptop. Let's make it so Henderson-proof that the next guy won't have any choice but to hire you. And if he doesn't, he's an idiot. Okay, I'm looking at it. Lay it on me. Which part do you hate?
Okay, scroll down to the second job, the bullet points. Managed the transition of the client database. Ugh. I think I used the word managed like 15 times on this page because I couldn't think of any other synonyms. It sounds so boring.
It is a little repetitive, but you did do a lot of managing. What if we spice it up? How about spearheaded? It sounds aggressive, like you went into battle with the database. You didn't just manage it, you spearheaded it.
Spearheaded. I like that. It sounds like I have a weapon. I am a warrior of the database. Let's use that one.
Done. Changing it now. Okay, what about this one? Assisted the marketing team with social media campaigns. Assisted is weak. You basically ran that campaign while Miller was playing golf.
I did. He literally gave me the passwords and said, make it look good. But I can't put did Miller's job for him while he was playing golf, even though it's the truth.
Sadly, no. The corporate world doesn't appreciate that level of honesty. How about orchestrated or executed? Executed social media campaigns, resulting in a 20% increase in engagement.
Executed. That's good. It sounds very final, like boom, it's done. I executed it. See, these are the words I know when I read them, but when I'm sitting at my kitchen table trying to write about myself, they just vanish. I default to the simplest words because I'm afraid of using the big ones incorrectly.
That's the imposter syndrome talking again. You know these words. You just need the confidence to claim them. You have to own your accomplishments, Emma. Nobody is going to do it for you, especially not in a corporate environment.
I know, you're right. It's just hard to break the habit of making myself smaller. When you are the youngest person in the room and the only Latina, you just try to blend in. You don't want to use a word like orchestrated because you don't want people to look at you and say, who does she think she is?
I get that. I really do. But you have to remember that those people are not smarter than you. They just have more practice pretending. Look at this next one. Communicated with vendors to resolve issues. Boring. How about negotiated with vendors?
Negotiated, yes, because I actually did have to fight with them over the pricing. I spent 3 days on the phone with the paper supplier.
Exactly. You didn't just communicate, you negotiated. You fought for the company's money. You need to put that on the paper. Negotiated vendor contracts, securing a 15% cost reduction. Boom, you sound like a CEO.
Okay, I'm liking this new Emma. She sounds very powerful. She orchestrates and spearheads and executes. She is terrifying.
She is unstoppable, and she definitely doesn't care about a slight accent. Okay, let's keep going. What about this section here under your education? Fluent in Spanish and English.
What's wrong with that? It's true.
It's true, but it's not strong enough. You are fully bilingual in a professional setting. That's a massive asset. Half the companies in this city are desperate for someone who can actually handle international clients without insulting them. Let's change it to bilingual professional, native Spanish, fluent English.
Really? You think I should emphasize it like that? Usually I try to hide it. I mean, they know I'm Mexican by my name, but I don't want them to focus on that. I want them to focus on my skills.
Emma, your bilingualism is a skill. It's a superpower. Do you know how much money companies lose because they miscommunicate with overseas partners? You can bridge that gap. You shouldn't be hiding it. You should be charging extra for it.
Charging extra? I never thought about it like that. I always viewed it as a liability, like something I had to apologize for. Sorry for my accent. Sorry I need a second to find the word.
Never apologize for speaking 2 languages. The guy interviewing you probably only speaks English and maybe a little bit of high school French that he forgot. You were already laps ahead of him.
You really know how to give a pep talk, Ryan. I feel like I could go back to Henderson's office right now and kick his door down.
Please don't do that. I don't want to have to bail you out of jail, but keep that energy. That's the energy you need for the next interview. Confidence, not arrogance, but just knowing your worth.
Knowing my worth. It's hard when the last company told me my worth was exactly 0 when they fired me.
They didn't tell you your worth was 0. They told you their budget was mismanaged by idiots at the top, and unfortunately, you were the one who had to pay for their mistakes. It had nothing to do with your performance, and you know that.
I know it in my head, but my heart still feels rejected. It's like a breakup. A very unceremonious, cold breakup. It's not you, it's our Q3 projections. Please leave your key card on the desk.
It is exactly like a bad breakup. And right now, you are in the phase where you eat too much ice cream and question all your life choices, which is fine, but eventually you have to put on a nice outfit, fix your resume, and get back out there. And this time, you're not going to settle for someone who treats you like a diversity hire.
You're right. I'm going to find a place that actually appreciates that I can spearhead things in 2 languages.
There you go. Now let's look at this last bullet point. helped organize the annual company retreat.
Oh God, the retreat. Don't remind me. I had to order gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan meals for half the executive team. It was a nightmare.
And you pulled it off perfectly. So let's not say helped organize, let's say directed logistics for a large-scale corporate event, managing dietary requirements and scheduling for 50-plus attendees.
Wow. When you say it like that, it sounds like I planned the Olympics.
You basically did. Corporate retreats are a logistical minefield. Remember when Miller almost booked the hotel on the wrong weekend?
Oh my God, yes. I had to call the hotel secretly and change the dates before he realized his mistake. I saved his life that day.
Exactly. You were the glue holding that place together, so put it on the resume. Crisis management, problem resolution, whatever you want to call it. You did it.
Thank you, Ryan. Honestly, I feel so much better. The jaw ache is gone. I think I was just carrying all that tension from yesterday, and having someone actually listen to me, it helps. It really helps.
Anytime, Emma. That's what I'm here for. Well, that and drinking this awful coffee. Seriously, we need to buy a new machine. This tastes like battery acid.
It really does. But it's our battery acid. It fuels the podcast.
True, and it keeps us awake. So, how are you feeling about the next interview? Do you have any lined up?
I have one on Tuesday. It's a smaller company, not a big corporate machine like the last one. I'm hoping the vibe will be a little more relaxed.
Smaller companies are usually better. Less red tape, fewer guys like Henderson. Just remember everything we talked about today. You are a bilingual professional who orchestrates and spearheads. You do not apologize for your accent. You own the room.
I will. I'll practice my power poses in the mirror before I go.
Good. And if you get nervous, just picture them trying to order a taco in Spanish.
I will definitely do that. Dos tacos, por favor, con mucha synergy.
Perfect. That's a spirit.
You know, it's funny. A month ago, I thought my life was over because I lost that job. But sitting here right now, I think it might be the best thing that could have happened to me. I was so stressed out there. I was losing myself trying to be the perfect corporate robot.
I saw it happening. You were getting quieter, you stopped telling jokes in the break room. You were just trying to survive. This is your chance to reset, to find a place that actually lets you be Emma.
Yeah, Emma the orchestrator. I like the sound of that. I think I'm going to be okay, Ryan.
I know you're going to be okay. In fact, I think you're going to be great. Now, do you want to keep looking at the resume, or should we record an intro for this episode before the coffee completely destroys my stomach?
Let's record the intro. My brain is officially full of strong verbs. I'm ready.
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1.
Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell.
And leave us a comment below. We'd love to hear from you.